George explained that he was the owner of this body, and Toots and the Germettes would have to go.
Go? Why should we go? We like it here. I'm making you feel sick? Oh, well, in that case, I'll be on my way. I'll just get my stuff. Fool you! I'm never leaving. But you are. Gotta run.
George knew he wouldn't feel better until he got rid of Toots. But where did he go? The lungs? George and Yoki agreed to try his lungs first. It looked kind of wet. Was this the lungs, or was it the stomach? Maybe they made a wrong turn somewhere.
Closing out now to your belly. So don't eat a thing, that's my suggestion, because I'll be giving. Gotta run.
Now this looked more like a lung. When the walls moved out, air came in. When the walls moved in, air rushed out. George was watching himself breathe.
Well, baby, I'm in your love.
Ooh, yeah, it's in your
Oh, yeah, in your love.
That Toots.
This was George's chance.
So where should we go next? The throat? Hey, maybe the ears. Hey, what are you doing? No, I don't want to go.
George couldn't believe how hard it was to get rid of one measly germ.
Hey, what are you doing? Let me go!
George didn't have a feather, but he did have 20 fingers.
No! Hey, cut out! This whole place could blow!
George and Yoki had done it. Toots was gone.
You're awake. How do you feel?
George felt great. He could even smell again. For an important call.
Calling George. I have the most amazing, exciting thing to tell you. Can you come over? Oh, right, we're in bed. Okay then, meet me at the clubhouse tomorrow, right away, and don't forget. Bye!
The next morning, George raced to the clubhouse.
Hey! Hiya, George. Are you ready to hear this? Are you ready? It's kind of unbelievable, and I don't think you'll even believe it. So are you ready? Okay. I am going to kindergarten! Huh? Kindergarten is where you go when you're big, and you need to learn stuff like how to write your name and 8 plus 2. Ah! And I want you to come with me to get all of my school tools. So can you come? Can you come?
It was a good thing George went shopping with Allie because she needed a monkey's eye.
Okay, which backpack? The lion, the witch, or the warthog? Yeah, that's the one I wanted too, because it holds the most stuff. See, in kindergarten, you need exactly 3 rulers and a cowboy belt, and binoculars, and pipe cleaners.
Wow, kindergarten sure sounded like fun. Where else would you need 3 rulers and a cowboy belt?
Guess what? These are 2 for 1.
Ooh.
Would you like a backpack, George?
The next day, George wondered how Allie was doing in kindergarten.
George! Kindergarten was great. And guess what? I told my teacher I was best friends with a monkey, and she said you could come to school with me tomorrow. Yeah, you'll be our official guest monkey.
Here's your lunch,
Huh?
your snack, and just for luck, a brand new yellow pencil.
Wow, a school tool.
Have fun. Be a good little guest monkey.
George discovered that just going to school was exciting. First, there was waiting for the bus. Then there was being on the bus. And then there was getting off the bus.
This is it, George. Kindergarten. Ooh.
Hi, Allie. And you must be George. All right, class. Time to take your seats.
Now, we're not going to create any more work for Professor Wiseman, right? Okay, come on. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Feed the ducks. You too. Fun, relaxation, ducks.
Okay, here I go.
George, careful. No problem, we're still feeding them, right? It's fun, huh? Right? Ducks!
But your hat is waddling away.
Oh, my hat.
We can solve this problem.
You shouldn't. I should. Okay, how?
Aha! We can use the kite string to fish the hat out of the water. I just need a hook. Perfect choice. Okay, want to toss it, George? We need more weight. Okay, try again. Aha! See that branch?
Uh-huh.
We can use it to lift the hat.
We can? Fantastic. Oh, thank you. Thank you. This wasn't what I planned. All you did was solve problems for us. Please accept my apology.
Apology for what? I had a very relaxing day.
Relaxing?
Exactly. Hands-on problem solving. Not like work where I just answer questions and shuffle paper.
Well, then, you're welcome.
Well, see ya.
Oh, okay. Wow. Who knew relaxing could be so exhausting? Come on, George. I think it's time for a nap.
George knew he had to keep Gnocchi away from that spaghetti strand. He had an idea how to do it. Now George had an accurate way to measure the building. This tape measure could measure anything. This was going great. 10 feet, 15 feet, 20 feet. Uh-oh. The tape measure was only 20 feet long, but the building was more than 20 feet tall. But how much more? Now, how was George going to measure the building? If only he had something longer than that tape. Of course, George had a spaghetti strand 30 feet long.
Say, aren't you Ginny, the world record book lady?
You are correct.
Oh, I've been a fan of yours for years.
Well, thank you. I'm here looking for...
I know what you're looking for. Chef Biscotti's is this way. There's Biscotti's restaurant.
And here's Chef Biscotti's strand of spaghetti. I have got to get a picture of this.
George could see that the spaghetti wasn't touching the ground, which meant it was a little bit shorter than the building. How could he measure the difference? When George held the strand at the top of his head, it reached the ground. That meant the building was exactly one spaghetti strand and one George tall.
Oh, yes. Oh, this is going to be spectacular. Love this.
Stevie, why you don't come back in the middle? You're Ginny, the world record book lady.
And you must be Chef Biscotti.
Yes, yes.
And up there on the roof, is that your monkey friend?
Yes, Giorgio?
Displaying your super long spaghetti strand. Here's the photograph I just took of it.
Wow. Does that set a world record, Ginny?
Oh, I'm afraid not. Here's the picture I took of Alfonso Dimitri displaying his strand of cooked spaghetti from the Leaning Tower of Pisa.
No. Now I'm never gonna get in the world record book.
You most certainly will. You have the second longest strand of cooked spaghetti. 3 stories tall.
Son of the
Wow,
gun,
Chef
eh?
Biscotti.
3 stories
Oh,
tall.
way to go!
Oh, 3 stories. I gotta call Nettie and tell her the building next door is 3 stories tall.
So Gnocchi finally got to play with the spaghetti. And Chef Biscotti broke a second record. World's longest cat toy. George always liked to visit the Man with the Yellow Hat's old neighborhood.
And that used to be the bookstore. And look, that's where I saw my very first movie. Oh, this used to be a great old theater. Maybe someday someone will fix it up. Hey, what's going on?
Progress, that's what. Wait till you see the unique self-cleaning parking structure I've planned for this site.
But this old theater is full of memories. You can't tear it down.
Tear down this theater? You're not serious. Look at the beautiful lobby. This bijou's what inspired me to become a doorman in the first place.
But it's tired and run down. It's a hopeless, broken old theater.
George didn't think it looked hopeless. He'd seen the Man with the Yellow Hat fix things up before. Why couldn't he fix up an old movie theater too?
Repair the theater? Us? You're right, George. If we don't do it, who will? How about it, Mr. Glass? Let us put on a special screening. We'll show you that this theater is worth preserving.
I don't want to go out to a movie. With one of these, why bother?
But a movie is always more fun on the big screen.
It can be a truly unique event.
Unique? Hi, you're a monkey, aren't you? Okay, it's a deal.
Great.
If you clean up this place and put on a unique, one-of-a-kind show, I'll save the theater.
Mr. Glass, I promise we'll knock your socks off. Maybe this is hopeless.
Well, let's see it with the lights on. See? It just needs a little TLC. Tender lobby care.
You know, it'll take some work, but I bet we can put on a good show.
Cleaning up a movie theater was a major production.
Thanks.
We've never played for a movie before.
Here it is, Isle of Dinosaurs, one of Mr. Glass's favorite movies. Hey, great work, you two. I can't believe this is the same theater. Wow, but those aren't monsters. You see? They're the same things in the dark as they are in the light. Your imagination got the best of you, George. But you know what? I have something to make you feel better. Your own personal nightlight. Now you'll never be afraid in the dark. All right, good night, George. Bad news, George. The storm knocked the power out. Hey, don't worry, we won't be in the dark. I have got my trusty Spelunker Scout's flashlight. Wow, that's funny. I always keep it right here. I know how to handle this old storm. It'll be fun, just like camping out. Right, George?
Camping out in the living room would have been fun if George had been able to fall asleep.
No, still no electricity, George.
Huh?
Yep, that last big storm knocked it out for 4 whole days. But don't worry, I know my flashlight is around here somewhere.
George knew he had to get that flashlight back if he wanted to sleep tonight. But the thought of going back to that cave alone was too scary.
Oh, you want those leftover walnuts? Well, help yourself.
George had led Jumpy to the cave. Now he had to get the squirrel to follow him inside. That was easier than he expected. The man with the yellow hat was right. The only scary things in the dark were in George's imagination.
Sorry. I didn't frighten you, did I, George? Oh, couldn't make it home before the rain, so I came in here. Oh, and I found this. Want it? I've been exploring this cave since I was a boy. Come on, I'll show you around.
That night, the power was restored. But George almost wished it was still out. And so, after a day of spooky shadows and strange shapes and sounds, George found that he never felt so at home as he did right then, in the dark.
Little monkeys sure can take up a lot of space, especially when they have a lot of stuff.
Well, that's the last of it, George. George? Now, George, are you sure we can't give this all away instead of storing it in the basement? You'll never use any of this stuff again.
The way George saw it, you should save everything because you never know when you might need it.
Okay, let's take it downstairs.
There's nothing Hundley loved more than a clean lobby. He only wished that monkey felt the same way.
Oh, sorry about that, Hundley.
Is that all of it?
It's not even half of it.
301's doorbell is stuck again. Don't worry, Hundley will show you to the basement.
Great. George, I'll go upstairs for more boxes. Why don't you and Hundley find a spot for them? Don't go down empty-handed.
Hundley decided to find a place for George's stuff. It occurred to Hundley that this was the first time he'd been in the basement by himself. Now, where did that ball go? A good lobby dog is fearless.
What are you guys waiting for? Why aren't you bringing the boxes downstairs? Well, I'll go upstairs and get more boxes.
George knew something in that basement must have scared Hundley, but he wondered what. Hundley couldn't let George go into that basement all by himself. He was a lobby dog, and this was his job. There was nothing to be afraid of. A basement is just a room full of junk. There was nothing to be afraid of down here. Except for that creepy noise.
George? Are you two all right?
Calm down.
Something in that basement must be frightening them. Let's all go down together and see what it is.
Well, I have to wait for the doorbell repairman.
Hundley wished he could wait for the doorbell repairman. Saturdays were the best day to stand on the dock and watch boats. There were tugboats, and motorboats, and dachshunds, and dachshunds.
Hey, it's Hundley!
Hundley loved everything about sailing. How the sails sounded when they caught the wind. How the doorman used the wind in the sails to make the boat go faster. And how there was all that water between their boat and the nearest sloppy monkey.
Hey, I never knew you guys sailed.
Sure. Hundley likes sailing so much, I put a boat in his dish. Now drinking water reminds him of sailing, which makes him happy.
If you want to see some great sailing ships, watch Pirates of the Wybecas tonight.
Any show about sailing ships sounded good to Hundley.
It's so good. The first time I saw it, I wished I was a pirate.
Since this was a sailboat, George wanted to be the wind and make it go.
Let's go, George.
Natural Geometric Exploring presents Pirates of the Wybecas.
Wow. How'd you like to sail a ship like that, Hundley?
Now there was a ship that couldn't be sunk by monkey breath.
The SS Wybecas was attacked by the bold pirate Black Hat Besame.
Pirate vessel off the port bow. All hands to your stations. Haul wind, coxswain.
Those ships were so dignified and neat. Wouldn't it be great to be an old-time captain?
The neatest ship to ever set sail was the SS Dignified. Its commander was world-renowned, Captain Hundley. No other captain was as smart, as orderly, or had as wet a nose.
All's clear, Captain Hundley, sir. Thank you, sir. You know how much your approval means to me, sir.
Captain Hundley's crew was always orderly and efficient. No one knew how to ride the breezes like Captain Hundley, the greatest sailor in the history of wind. But all was not smooth sailing. A new crewman came aboard during a stop in the Dry Tortugas. New first mate George was a sloppy monkey with a jelly sandwich. But Captain Hundley didn't worry. He put that monkey in the brig and kept his ship dignified. Nope, not in this log. George felt bad about waking Jumpy Squirrel, but he had to move on. Then he got an idea. Playing possum had its uses.
I got another call about the creature. This time, it stampeded cattle at Renkin's farm. But let me reassure the kiddies that this is all in fun. The creature's only a legend. I hope.
George remembered that the possum liked fish sandwiches, so maybe it lived in water, like beavers. Raccoons must be nocturnal too. But his possum showed no interest in living in water, unless he lived in a boat.
Clint. That lake creature seems to be stealing our boat.
Maybe this possum's family lived in town. George held him high so he could help look.
Folks, remember, the lake creature is just a fisherman's legend. He doesn't exist. Except there he is. He must be 12 feet tall and as terrifying as a shark holding a harpoon.
It was getting later and later, but George still hadn't found the possum's home. He found more nocturnal creatures' homes. He found daytime creatures' homes, too. But he couldn't find the possum's home. He was so tired, he was imagining possums everywhere. Or was he? The possum family lived in a tree.
George? Kind of late for a stroll. This has been quite an evening. Citizens report and night creatures.
George had seen night creatures, too. Bill was right. There were a lot of them. But Bill was wrong about the town.
Lock your doors. No telling where the creature will appear next.
It wasn't at all quiet at night.
Night, George. You sleep well.
George would sleep well. And with the possum gone, he'd fill the feeder and wake to chirping birds.
Morning, George. Time to get up. What? George?
Oh. George learned one more thing about nocturnal creatures. Little animals that stay awake at night sleep during the day.
Ready as promised.
It was worth living without it for 3 long days. I'd rather carry it myself, George.
You're not gonna wear your hat?
No, I want to keep it perfect till tonight. We're going to the opening of the new planetarium dome. Thanks. Let's get home before anything happens to my perfect clean hat. Well, we made it safely. Okay, now, George, when I get back, we're going right to the planetarium, so take a bath. There'll be photographers there. I want you to look clean and fluffy.
George was going to take a bath, just like he was told. It sure was a perfect hat. Who could resist trying it on? George wanted Compass to see him in the yellow hat. It'd only take a second. George saw the hat fly this way, but it disappeared. The hat was back home and still perfect. Almost. George removed the piece of branch as carefully as any surgeon working on any yellow hat could. Okay, there was just a tiny thread there. No problem. Maybe he needed to pull harder. Or maybe it had to be cut off. George had forgotten that the last time he used his safety scissors was to cut his strawberry jam and banana sandwich. It was only a small smudge. All he had to do was clean it off. This stiff brush got the grill sparkling like new every time, and the grill got dirtier than the hat. He may have scrubbed too hard.
When I get back, we're going right to the planetarium.
George had to do something fast.
Oh, hello. Can I help you? Do you want a hat like this one? I have one just like it. But it's exactly the same. Oh, you want a yellow hat? Okay. Well, that's the only yellow hat we have. I'm sorry.
Gnocchi had never seen George look so worried. George showed her the problem, but cats think every wiggling finger is a game. They can't help it. Maybe he didn't need a new yellow hat. Maybe all he needed was something like a yellow hat. Hunley tried not to wonder what George was up to. He really tried. had to know. What would make a good hat? Same color? Perfect! Hunley had wanted to see what George was up to, and now he couldn't see anything at all. Good color. Too floppy. Not floppy, but too pointy. Perfect. If he wanted to be the man with the drippy yellow bag hat. The man with the yellow ice cream stick pyramid hat. The man with the yellow blow-up hat. George realized that no hat he made could ever be the man's yellow hat. But the hole didn't look so bad when there was yellow paper inside. That was it! He didn't need a new hat. He needed to patch the hole. The paper looked good, but something made of more hatty material would look better. Something like a yellow sock.
George, did Hunley drop by for a shower, or is one of our towels running away from home? George, where's my hat? Gnocchi, don't touch my clean hat. It has to be perfect for tonight. George, why does my hat have a tail and a hole?
George couldn't believe he didn't think of that.
You see? It looks great. All right, we've got to go. Did you take a bath? Fixed hat, fresh suit, clean monkey. I feel like there's something we forgot to do.
George always liked the sights and sounds of the countryside. The tastes of the countryside were pretty good, too, especially the taste of the Rinkins' homemade honey.
You ready to sample this year's first batch of honey, George?
I packed some homemade bread in here to go with your honey. Enjoy!
If there was anything George liked more than sweet honey, it was eating it with freshly baked bread. But this bee wouldn't let him enjoy his snack. Now, where did it hurry off to? What could be more interesting than bread and honey? George wondered how a flower could move when there was no wind. Touching all the flowers was definitely not as interesting as a bread and honey sandwich. Who'd be mean enough to take a monkey's snack? A bear. George had never seen a real live bear wandering around here before. The bee came back. It must have wanted to be friends.
Well, that bee thought you were trying to hurt it, George. Bees sting to protect themselves. Now, just keep ice on that finger for a while and you'll be fine. You want cereal again? You just had it for breakfast. No, George, a bee stung you. A bear didn't bite you. Besides, no one's seen a bear in these woods in over 20 years.
But George was positive he'd seen a real bear.
Hey there, George!
Bill always seemed to know everything. Maybe he'd know about the bear.
Pretty good imitation, George. Did you know no one's seen a bear around here in over 30 years?
George left those bees alone. Why couldn't they leave him alone?
That's just a honeybee, George. Hey, they're going toward my yard. Wow, when did they build that? I gotta get those bees to leave. I don't want them to hurt my bunnies. George? George?
It's a beautiful day, George. Why aren't you outside? Come on, help me water the snapdragons. They're in bloom, see? Afraid of getting stung again, huh? I have to go to the Rankins' place. Maybe you should come along. I bet they can help you.
Hello again, George.
It's us, Mr. and Mrs. Rankins. Oh my, is that the bee sting we heard about?
It's his first. Now he's feeling a little nervous around bees.
Oh, perfectly understandable. That's why you'll like this. Ta-da!
Bees can't sting you when you're wearing this.
You want to see something really neat?
Why, look there.
Don't worry, we're protected.
George, you ever wonder why bees like to crawl inside colorful flowers?
Oh, they're gathering nectar. You can get close and watch.
Now, as the bees get their nectar, their legs transfer a fine substance called pollen from one flower to the next.
It helps more flowers to grow in the future.
Here at the hive, the nectar turns into the bees' food supply. Can you guess what it's called, George?
Honey, George. The same honey you like on your bread.
The bees make more than they can eat. That's where we get it. Here's another jar for you. Enjoy.
George was amazed something so tasty came from something he'd been afraid of. He wanted to say thanks.
Not too close, George. Bees will get angry if you disturb their hive.
I'm staying to help with the hives, George. I'll be home soon.
George, I figured out a way to move the hive. This is my homemade anti-bee suit. Maximum protection. Come on. I jump on this plank to launch these mud balls. They knock the hive loose. It falls in the can. Then I take it to Mr. Rankins. Yeah, it's not the proper way to remove a hive, but I need to act fast before bunnies get stung.
George knew Bill's plan was going to make the bees mad.
Now, Bill, you know there's a proper way to remove a hive.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get those bunnies somewhere safe and call professional bee removers, huh?